Well, good afternoon, everybody. JT here in the studio again for another edition of Studio 10-4 Live, weekly update up here in the Pacific Northwest. And I want to thank Minimizer for being our presenting sponsor for today's show. Can't do what we do without having a little help along the way. And Minimizer is definitely the one today that's making that happen for us. And they do have quite a varied line of products. If you never heard of them, I'd be surprised. And if you have, and you haven't been over to their website in a while, go on over to minimizer.com. Check it out. The website's one of my favorite websites out there just because of the interface that they put together on it. It's basically whatever's outside the truck, whatever's inside the truck, go where you want to go, get what you need, and get it ordered, find out where you can get it if you need it, and get that done. So check them out, minimizer.com. Today's show, we got a couple of great guests. Of course, we're going to be leading off with Mr. Dan Linss, our Team 10-4 leader and co-founder, creator of 10-4 magazine. Also in the green room right now is Mr. Randy Cole with the NHRDA, which stands for National Hot Rod Diesel Association. So they're the NHRA with the D in it of the eighth mile world out there, which man, there's a lot going on in that world right now too. I can't wait to talk to Randy about that because he probably keeps track of all that crazy stuff like I do. But NHRA, big changes coming up in the next couple of years. So I'm looking forward to seeing it happen, and I'm glad that it's back. Man, it's back in a big way. Mr. Tim Sieben, what's going on? Yeah, thank you, man. I'm glad to be here. So I must look healthy. I don't look run down and ragged. Appreciate that. Nice to know I look presentable. And good evening to whoever is wishing us a good evening. To me, myself, and the 10-4 crew. Pete Henderson, of course, in the studio as well. Hope you guys, Eric Hill, Mr. Hill in the house. Good to have you, buddy. And April Sieben too. Right on. We're getting surrounded here. Team 10-4 coming in big. I wanted to talk a little bit about the holiday. We just came off of a 3-day weekend, and that means something to most of us when you get one of those that's real. And this definitely was a real one. Memorial Day, remembering those that have fallen while in the service of our country. And, I know there's a lot of confusion out there about what all these different holidays represent and what they're for besides swimming, barbecue, beaches, and whatever else. But the reality of it is, you've got Memorial Day, Veterans Day. I know I'm leaving some out, and all these different days represent different things along the way for our armed forces and, of course, first responders and alike. But Memorial Day being the one that recognizes our fallen. And not that we don't have any love and respect for those that have served or that are serving. We do. This just isn't their day. Okay, so I recommend, honestly, if any of you, and I had this conversation today, that if you haven't seen Band of Brothers, man, where have you been? Because that is, and no offense, Randy, but yeah, the Band of Brothers, it's on HBO, or as they call it, Max. It's now Max and inclusive of Discovery Plus and HBO. Kind of cool. Excuse me. But the Band of Brothers series, it's 10 episodes, is on there. If you ever had any wonder, doubt, want to find out what the heck is Memorial Day about, well, there's your answer. World War II. I'm a World War II product. My dad was served in World War II. He's a retired Army major. Lost dad many years ago, back in 96, if I'm not mistaken. And he was 83 years old, so believe me, he led a full life. But the man had a lot of stories, and that stories didn't come out till later in life. Trust me, in a unique situation. He wasn't sitting around telling us all about the war. Trust me, a lot of those guys, most of those guys that were there don't. It's just not the thing that they do. But amongst each other, different story, man. Now it's a brotherhood. But yeah, knowing what it's about, knowing what the holiday's there for, what it means, why we celebrate, wouldn't hurt anybody to go and check that out and get a little history lesson in there. Shannon, hi Shannon. Everybody wish Shannon a belated birthday, because it was just her birthday on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So I want to say happy birthday, Shannon. I know I missed it. I was out of town and on the road and busy, and I didn't get a chance to make that happen. So happy birthday. I think she's 29 again. So enjoy that and keep it young, Shannon. I know you always will. Joe Wilson, Kyle Nelson, nice to have you on. Glad to have everybody here in the studio. Summer's coming up, school's graduating, all of that stuff's happening. It is definitely the prelude to summer and all the fun stuff that's going to be happening in our world. It means it's basically June. So summer does mean that there's other stuff happening, more shows, more events. Usually that brings a lot of heat, and we welcome the weather. I mean, it is what it is, so we'll take it, and we'll make the best out of it. There's some great stuff coming up. We'll be talking about that stuff in a minute. Everybody noticed in the back there, I got a little different look going on. I took down the green screen. I actually ordered new panels. They're coming in. They'll be in next week. Got the new sign. Let's see which way. Right there, the new sign is up, live on air. That is a neon sign, believe it or not. And that great KW emblem that was given to me is out there hanging on the back too. But we're going to have a whole new backdrop, and we'll get all my old memorabilia and everything that I had in the old studio down in California back up on the wall behind me, along with some other cool stuff. And I want to show you one of those things. I want to thank Dave McKinney right there, buddy. If you're always like wondering where'd your truck go, there it is. Thank you for that cool die cast of your truck. It will be going back up here somewhere in the background behind me, as will many other items that have been given along the way. And man, I tell you, all the love coming in, shirts, hats, all kinds of cool stuff. You guys are awesome. And anybody, you want to get that hat on the show or that shirt on the show, let me know. And how you let me know is just send me the hat. There it is right there. Colby Kaliva, Sick Rigs on my head today, man. So Colby, good to see you. And can't wait till we see you again. Hopefully we'll see all the Kaliva guys in Reno maybe this year, because that's coming up too. Right now, I want to take you guys over to the Cyber Connection and bring in Mr. Dan Linss. What is going on? Editor-chief, co-founder, all-around good guy.
Just taking a break to talk to you and everybody, enjoying this beautiful day in Central California. It's fantastic today.
Well, California does have the weather. I'll give them that.
It's all we got, baby.
That's about right. You know what, though? I mean, I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with the weather up here where I'm at today. It's 70 degrees, beautiful, just absolute, as they say, a chamber of commerce kind of day. So loving it and enjoying the weather. So what's happening in your world, Dan? It's been a while. I know you had a big weekend, family get-togethers and celebration. So kids came and went. What's happening?
Yeah, had a celebration of life for Shannon's grandmother. So we cooked for about 30 people and had a big soiree and did some fun stuff and had a lot of family up. And yeah, and I've been, working on web changes. So hopefully I get those done as soon as I get off the air here so we can get a website up tomorrow with our new edition that just came out today, which I'm sure we're going to talk about.
Yes, we are. In fact, I'm gonna buzz over to something right now that we can now kind of reveal. I mean, I believe you probably sent it to me in the pictures you sent me, but as well, there it is on 10-4 Magazine's Facebook page. It's up and it's posted, and the new edition will be out in the streets and in racks here starting today. Look for it in your mailbox if you subscribe. And if you don't subscribe.
And if you notice, that is a Marmon.
Yes.
And I will say, in our almost 30 years, we have never had a Marmon on the cover. So this is a first. And it was also Colin Kund, who is from Pennsylvania, one of our contributors that occasionally contributes features and whatnot. He shot that, and actually that's his first cover feature. So congratulations to him as well. He did a fantastic job. And this is a really cool, unique truck that it works every day, pulling a step deck, and pretty cool deal, pretty cool story. And you're not going to find too many cool conventional Marmons out there. So there you go.
I'm gonna bring up the clean shot of that, and I'm working on that right now. There it is. So Um, I love bringing it up because it just never, and I haven't heard it a lot in a while, but we used to hear, oh, you never put a working truck on the cover of that magazine. Well, two things I got in response to that. Number one, there's more working trucks than there is anything else that goes on the cover. And sometimes just because you don't think it's a working truck, don't mean that it isn't, because it is. And that just is a testimony to how well that these guys take care of their trucks and what they go through and what they do. They still come out looking sweet, like this one right here. So,
And we work really hard to find really cool, unique, off the grid working trucks. I mean, that's sort of our sweet spot. So this fell right into that for sure.
I'm going to go ahead and scroll through some of these photos you sent over here and give everybody a look at them. And that, I'll tell you what, to me, the Marmon that they built here in this model, this conventional, it has some classic line looks to it, that just, you could look at that and from a distance wonder, is that an old Freightliner? Is that an old Peterbilt? What is that? Because the square low and the sleeper on the back, that flat top, it just has those lines to it. Then you start getting closer and then you really kind of, if it's been debadged, you're not going to know what it is. And I know it just, it can really throw you for a loop, but there's a bunch of trucks out there like the Marmon that have that effect on you. And I love these old trucks like this. I mean, the old Macs were another one, the old squared out Superliners. I love the way they look. So great job. And Colin, what a great job. This guy, I've loved his work ever since I first saw it. I think he does a great job.
That's the owner, Gene Weaver.
Gene, looking professional and mighty clean there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see one of these night shots? I think those are looking really good. Let's bring one of them out. You got me too.
Well, they're not actually night shots. They're just inside shots.
Inside shots. There we go. How about light shot? Light shot, not night shot, but a light shot. Where are we at here?
He said that they were in a building owned by Bethlehem Steel, and they were shooting outside of it, and they were just about done shooting outside, and they were going to move inside, and this like crazy storm came, hail, rain, like wind was blowing like metal panels off the building. So they were actually pretty happy to be inside.
There's something there, man. That's cool. That warehouse is a cool old warehouse, but it made for a great shot. Really did. Nice job. Nicely done. Another shot, obviously outside the same warehouse, I'm assuming, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Looking good. Of course, all these shots and more are going to be available on our website once it's updated, which is going to be happening, as Dan said, hopefully by tomorrow.
Should be tomorrow, late afternoon or early evening. Yep.
Guys will be out there looking for that. Got one more shot inside here. That's a great shot right there. There's your centerfold. Done very nicely.
Yep.
Very nice.
And there's a lot of other cool stuff in that June edition that came out today. Some show reports from the Peterbilt reveal, which we're going to talk a little bit about, and the Swamp East Truck Show, and large cars and guitars. And there's a feature on an old Diamond T cab over. So in addition to a lot of other stuff.
Speaking of, let's see. Let's get this one up here. Hang on one second. Let's bring this one into the mix. We have some different things going on here now. Whereas I used to be able to share a screen, let's do that. We'll just share the screen. There we go. Then I can kind of switch in between. Hey, who are those guys?
So we're moving on to the Peterbilt show.
I think so.
So yeah, we had the pretty awesome opportunity to be invited by Peterbilt, Shannon and I, and Eric as well, to come and be a part of the 589 legendary reveal. And we had a great time. There was banquets and dinners and tours. We toured the plant. There's some pictures of that. There was just a huge reveal party. So that's Eric at the plant, standing in front of the first 359 that ever went through that plant in 1980, I believe, when it opened. They later bought it back and refurbished it, so it's sitting in the factory there. There it is again. But those are like earpieces we're wearing around our neck. You put your headphones in,
Yeah.
and then the guy's talking, and you're hearing it in your headphones. And
Kind of figured that's what was going on. That's part of the tour that they're giving you. So, and they held the big party at the Texas Motor Speedway, right?
right. So this is us looking down from the stands out into the celebration or the reveal area. So that stage in the middle is where they did the reveal. There's two stages, like on the left and the right, and in there they've got 589s that are covered up, and then they've got it flanked by 3 trucks on each side, other trucks from their current kind of fleet. And then you can't see it off page to the left and the right. There's another 589 on each side covered with a blanket, which they opened up during the reveal. So so people were filling the stands. They were out on the grass. That night weather held, thankfully, and they had this just great presentation and big video screens. I mean, the big video screen you see in the back on the back stretch, I mean, that was all doing the whole event was broadcast up there, along with big screens all around on the stages, and which I live streamed it. If anybody was paying attention, I was standing front and center right behind one cameraman. I was the first guy besides him.
You had the only working live stream. I don't know if you knew that or not, but you did.
Well, you know what? My phone and me did what we could do.
Yeah. Hey, I'm curious. The dump truck here, is that one of ours?
I don't think that is a dump truck, is it?
Yes, it is.
You know what? I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember.
My understanding is we had a few there. I don't know if it was one and I'm talking about Rogue Truck Body, obviously, but
Right.
yeah, that could be. It sure does look like one. But we had a few of our products on being represented in the show that was going on there as well. But let's go to the next one here.
So that was obviously before anybody was there. That grass was completely filled with people, and the stands were very full too, right? Straight out. It was amazing how many people were there.
Well, it was a big deal, right? I mean,
it was a big deal.
They
called it
legendary,
and I just keep saying it was a legendary event for sure.
So I guess drum roll, even though I already showed it, there it is.
So yeah, they did loud music. They did a whole presentation, and then fireworks, and then then this curtain slowly raised, and the fireworks are going off. It was pretty theatrical, pretty dramatic. But this was on the left side of the stage, and then there was their legendary model on the right side of the stage. And I don't know what was under the rugs. Or under the carpet, the tarp things that they had, the curtains. I didn't see those, but I think they were just other models, other paint schemes, under other sleeper configurations. But yeah, I mean, honestly, most people had the same thing to say. They said, well, it's not too bad. It could have been worse. And honestly, they pretty much just sandwiched a 567 cab in between a standard 389 hood, not a long hood, but a standard hood.
Standard hood, yeah.
A standard sleeper back there. So,
yeah.
It actually, it's not a bad looking truck. I mean, and everybody knows those trucks are really comfortable, and they're nicely appointed inside, like a car, obviously, but that's kind of where everything's going. So
one-piece glass. It looks like a 70-inch sleeper, at least a 70-inch style sleeper. I don't know if it actually is. But,
that was probably the most talked about thing was, that people were bothered by that big fishbowl windshield. That was one thing I'd say they wish that it didn't have. But, I'm assuming Peterbilt has benchmarks they have to hit for aerodynamics, or they can't even build this truck. So they're probably doing everything that they can.
My understanding is there is an option to still get the two-piece glass. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know.
If that's true, that will be a very popular option.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. Probably so. Hey, I want to welcome Bubba. What's up, Bubba? Good to have you on the show, man. Good evening, and hope you're doing well. Mr. Branch is a shell of his former self. He's lost so much weight, I can't even recognize the guy. Mr. Eric Hill there getting in all the shots. I
So
see.
that was the one with the legendary package on the other side. It was a little bit different. Had a couple different badging and branding, but
flat top sleeper, looking a little more owner operator kind of stylish. And then of course, I guess we have some Peterbilt media here.
Yep, I just kind of included a bunch of pictures that Peterbilt produced and provided. You know, this is obviously the first Peterbilt made, the 39, I think it is, with obviously the new one.
Yep, that is the legendary package. That's the one we're seeing in the photo that we just looked at. And then there's the sleeper model. Interior wise, you know, interesting. Apparently this one's an automatic because I don't see a clutch there. And it's all on the dash, I'm assuming.
Well, I'm guessing that once some builders get a hold of these things, you know, they'll fix it. They'll tweak it.
They'll fix it. Choice of words. Interesting choice of words. You know, it's just another milestone in the life cycle, I believe, of these trucks, and that is, you know, go way back, you know, and the first thing that came out that was a big shift of what the truck was the 359, and you know, I think that one was probably a mind blower because it's so much luxury and creature comforts had never really been put into a truck until then. And then you get the 379 and then the 389, and then we just bury the 300 series and we're off to the 500s and the 589. So, you know, to each his own. There's something out there for everybody, and we'll see what happens. You know, the numbers won't lie; they'll tell us what people think.
Right. Well, and I will say there's a whole report that Eric put together for us in this June edition that just came out today, and he did a fantastic job putting it together, and he had a unique perspective, and was really excited to be there and honored, and we were too, but he really was taken aback by it. He has a lot more history with Peterbilt than I do, and so he had a lot more to say about that. But so look for that report in
there.
There was about 200. There was about 200 trucks, a little bit maybe. There was about 200 trucks parked outside. All Peterbilts, of course, all invited, and I have to say it was the finest assembly of Peterbilt trucks probably you'll ever see. I mean, it was pretty amazing. They gave 5 awards away, picked by some Peterbilt factory, I don't know, marketing people or something. I don't know who picked them, but they picked good ones. But I don't know how they picked them. I mean, there just was so many amazing things out there. Hey, Ingrid.
Hi, Ingrid. Good to have you on the show.
Well, anyway.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to bring us up to our next part of this. And by the way, I would have loved to have been there, but man, we just can't be everywhere and can't see everything. But luckily, we've got you guys to capture those moments and share them with us in the magazine and, of course, the website and online socially. So glad that we got that happening. But yeah, I would have loved to have been there to see that. It must have been quite a sight to see.
And we would, again, thank Peterbilt. I mean, they rolled out the red carpet. It was first class all the way. And it was awesome. I mean, we have to say, whether you like the truck or not, the event was amazing. They treated everyone just phenomenally. And it was a great time.
Kelly, how you doing?
There's lots of stories from the hotel bar I cannot share.
Wait a minute. There's nobody watching. Go ahead. What?
Even Ingrid was there.
I know. Telling you, man, that girl gets around. I mean, in a good way, but she does get around.
John.
Shows. Let's talk about what's happening. The summer's here. It's June almost tomorrow. So let's talk about what's happening. We got some stuff coming up.
We got a lot of stuff coming up. Yeah, a lot of shows we're going to be at. A lot of shows we're just helping to promote. This is the AmCan show coming up June 9th and 10th. Eric will be there with a booth for 10-4. Nice. So if you're in that area, go find him, get some magazines, whatnot, and go say hi to him.
There you go. And of course,
Marino will be there in full force here. The same weekend. Big ATHS show. We'll be out there with the TFK trailer and the Magini show truck and set up outside, and we'll be out there having a good time for sure.
Get a plug in there for Miss Flatbed Red. She's the generator of this graphic.
Yes, she is. You are correct.
Thank you, sir. Got another one coming up with Dynaflex products, of course, on the beach there in Southern California.
Father's Day weekend. We will not have a booth out there, but we will be out there Saturday and a little bit Sunday morning, walking around, having a good time, seeing everybody.
Yeah, another good show to be at. If you're close down to Huntington Beach, Sammy just opened up a new place there in Huntington Beach.
Really?
Yes, the Cabo Wabo Beach Bar.
Cool.
Just opened it last weekend.
This is the show coming up this weekend. We will not be there, but we're helping them promote it. Hell's Canyon Days up in Cambridge, Idaho. Check them out. Go to their website if you're anywhere in that area. It looks like it would be a good time. Just lots of stuff happening. Just a good old street fair.
CambridgeIdaho.com if you want to check that out.
Yep.
June 9th through 11th.
This is a very popular weekend. There's a lot of shows that weekend. This is the Sunflower Classic, and we've been helping them promote it. And they were kind enough to even have a trophy made with our logo on it. I think I forget what the class was, but a really cool trophy made by Dickerson Custom Trucks that made our trophies for TFK, which we're about to talk about. And I'm going to steal some ideas from their trophies. So we're going to up our trophy game next year. Wheel Jam, of course, our friends here on South Dakota. That's happening this weekend as well. Bummed we can't be there this year. We usually go there, but it's just too much going on. So they have a great show out there, and it's a good laid back kind of good time. So if anybody's in that area, gotta go out, check it out.
Check it out. So I kind of went a little bit out of order here, but I'm going to jump in and get back on track here and share with us the Truckin For Kids 2023 edition.
Before we move on from shows and start talking about Truckin For Kids, I want to mention one that you didn't have a graphic for, which is the A&L show, the Central Valley Commercial Truck Show, which they usually have every year on Labor Day weekend. And I don't think they had it the last year or two because of COVID, but they are having their show this weekend. They wanted to not be on the holiday and possibly beat some of the heat. They're going to beat a little bit of it, not much of it. So that is this weekend, this Saturday and Sunday at the Fresno County Fairgrounds. So if anybody is in the Central Valley area and wants to come, it's this weekend. It's happening. So we'll be out there Saturday and a little bit Sunday morning as well. And so come to that and show them some support.
Get out there, man. Right now, the weather is unseasonably cool and very pleasurable to be out in. So enjoy it while it lasts.
Supposed to warm up a little bit by the weekend. Unfortunate for them, but still not Labor Day temperatures.
Yeah, exactly. Caleb, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Caleb.
All right, so let's talk TFK, man.
Well, we've got a great TFK audience here. A lot of our Shriners people have joined us. I saw Julie and I saw Amanda. I don't know if Tony's here, but we got Kelly from another organization, and of course Tim and April, and yeah, we. So this is a picture of our Shriner's Choice. So that is the young man in the middle is a Shriner's patient of some sort. I don't know for what, and that's his family behind him, and that is Dan Brubaker with the Low Life Peterbilt. That kid chose his truck as the winner, and so that was us giving the award with the Shriners. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you call them. The guys with the hats.
They're Shriners.
They're Shriners. Okay. Yeah. Ambassadors. That's it. I think they're ambassadors. Anyway, so yeah, that was given that award, and that was kind of cool.
And those guys have different titles within the organization that they go by as well, but they're Shriners. So they have different positions, which give them different titles. But anyway, and Julie just clarified that for us too.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Julie.
Love Julie's profile pic, man. That's classic. Randy, what's going on, buddy? Good to have you on the show, man. Love seeing Randy show up, and our Central USA folks out there, man. Let's look at one more here from the show, and there is the the drone shot looking straight down on, well, more or less straight down, but what a shot. What a show.
I just want to pay mind to those really straight rows. We worked really hard. Our parking guys worked really hard for those straight rows.
I just want to say my OCD is soothed right now. I feel
Good.
so content.
Mine was pretty good too.
Right, exactly.
Thank you, Oscar. Well, I will say with Truckin for Kids, obviously we've talked a lot about it, upcoming it, right after it. So we're kind of wrapping things up with the 2023 one. And we've crunched all our numbers, and we talked to Shriners yesterday and let them know what our donation is going to be this year. So last year we had a goal of 50,000 to donate, and we donated 40. That was just with a one-day show. I felt pretty good about that. We almost got there. We had a few added expenses. Had we not had those, we would have hit that benchmark. So I felt pretty good about that. This year's goal was a little bit more lofty with the 2-day. It was 100,000. And I'm here to say we had one overages expense. Had we not had to pay it, we would have hit that benchmark. So we are happy to announce that we are going to be donating $90,000 to Shriners this year. So, and super excited about that. And from here on out, our goal is going to definitely be 100,000 every year. We're also going to, thank you, Amanda. We're also going to be donating $1,000 to the Mavix community outreach. And Kelly Anderson is in the comments here. She is the founder of that organization, and they came out to Truckin for Kids and had a booth, and they basically bring foster kids out to motorsports events and kind of open their eyes to all the opportunities, whether it be racing, mechanics, photography, all the different things that it takes to have an event, to race. So kind of just opening the eyes and opening the world up to these foster kids, which is a pretty amazing thing. So was really impressed reading through her materials when we got back. So we decided we're going to donate $1,000 to their organization as well. So
spread it around a little bit and do as much good as you can with everything that you got out of that, and which is amazing. I got to say, Dan, you've set some pretty lofty, as you said, goals on this thing. I mean, those are big numbers, but the generosity and the achievement of the people that come together to make this happen now is, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but that's fantastic. Congratulations to everybody that worked to make it happen. It definitely takes a lot, and I mean to tell you a lot, to make a truck show happen. When you see different ones working and others that aren't, and then you see one that really, especially is your own, and it comes together, it's something else. And I unfortunately missed ours this year, but I'll be back next year. Absolutely.
Well, you missed a good one, brother.
Yeah, next time I will be there. So, hey, with that, I want to get Mr. Randy Cole in, because Randy was there at Truckin for Kids, and I want to bring Randy in so we can share a little conversation. Randy, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Good. Thanks, man. I sorry we kept you in the green room. I hope the champagne was good and the burn ends. Did they take care of you?
It would be bourbon, not champagne, but yes.
Okay. I'm drinking water. I did break down and have 2 beers Memorial Day, so I guess I'm officially off the wagon, but not really. I mean,
You are.
Well, I would like to personally thank Randy. Obviously, he was a big part of TFK, whether you all know it or not. He ran all of our stage lanes and our brackets and put our racing together. The year before, racing was a little sketchy, and we did what we could. And we brought Randy. Randy brought himself in and offered to help, and we could not have done it without him. So thank you a ton. The racing was fantastic. It finished at 4:00 on the nose. And all the racing that I was able to watch was just fantastic. I mean, it really was competitive, exciting. And the jet dragsters, those guys were awesome. So thanks to, Tony Franco at Muy Caliente Racing for bringing out the 2 jet dragsters that, whooped down that 8th mile at like 196 miles an hour.
Right.
Awesome.
Right. Great event. And like you said, a great show doesn't see the chaos. Dan and all you guys, it's a lot of chaos and a lot of things get said behind the scenes that the public never sees. That's a great show. And you put on a great show. I was a tiny little part of that show. Your team did a great show there.
Thank you.
Yes. So need more of those. Right.
Well, we made the track so happy they've invited us back again next year, which was a little shocking, given our relationship before. Didn't seem like it was going to be moving forward. So we have not quite picked the date and confirmed it yet, but there's a very, very good possibility we'll be back at Irwindale in the spring of 2024. So as soon as we have those dates and that information, we'll share it with everybody as well. But the track is very happy, and that makes all of us happy. So it'll make for a much better event next year.
Right. And that's back to all your competitors, right? The Friday night or the Saturday night, everybody was calm, but they weren't, right? We had some stacks going, some smoke going, some horns going, but nothing was crazy. And the next morning, that's why what was his name? I can't remember the track. It was Dan, right? The track manager.
Tim.
His name? Tim. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Tim. I looked at him. I said, guys, I put events on at some of the biggest NHRDA tracks in the nation. You're stupid not to have this event back. This event brings in a great crowd of people, right? They're not being crazy. They're not tearing down fences. And I went out in a half-mile radius of that track. There's some not so nice people down there, right? So for them to have you back, that's a no-brainer to me, right? That would be dumb not to have the clientele you bring and the professionalism you guys bring. So we'll be there.
All right, that's awesome.
I like what Randy said, that, and I think that needs to go forward over there to the track as well, because you nailed it, man. That and our, relationship, I think it's just a matter of different visions and views, and we have ours and they have theirs at the track, certainly. But it all kind of came together, and the first time was definitely a test of everything, especially for all of us at 10-4 and Truckin For Kids, because here we're going in thinking it's our 2-day show and we're gonna go, and it's no, we're doing 1 day this year, guys. Really? Okay. So we got through it and came back with a big splash for 2023 in 2 days, and made it fantastic. So again, congratulations to everybody involved, all the volunteers, everybody that showed up, competitors out there in the parking lot, the ones on the track, all the guys that participated in every fashion and way that they did. I was so jealous watching it all.
Without all those people, everyone who attended, participated, the vendors, the sponsors, people who helped us run it, our volunteers. We can't do this by ourselves, and we can't do it without great participation. So thank you to everyone. We didn't do that. We all did that. So everybody's responsible for that donation. So we're excited about going down to Pasadena probably in early July with another big oversized check and do our presentation. And hopefully we'll get to see some of our Shriners friends there, and looking forward to doing it.
So my 2 cents on this, great show and shine, right? But guys, don't be scared out in the show and shine. Cone Trucking from Redding, California, they came over during the drivers meeting. I said, hey, if you've never drag raced before, come grab me. Let's go out to the starting line. And I can't remember her name. Yeah, I'm sure you guys know her name, but Cone Trucking right there in Redding. They went out there. I put their foot in the front beam. I put the beam in the second beam. I go, there's your one light. Here's your second light. When these 3 go down, you go. And that guy had a permagrin the rest of the matter of fact, when I saw him, we went up to Redding afterwards. We went to lunch with them, and he still had a grin ear to ear. He's like, everybody said I'm going to break something. I go, when you're 80,000 pounds going up the grapevine, that's when you might break something. Going down a quarter mile is not going to break anything. So I would invite next year, if you're in the show and shine, don't be scared to go enter into the drag racing too and do both, right?
Absolutely.
We'll pull you off the line and get you on the 8th mile. Have
Right.
some more fun.
Right.
All right, Dan. So Dan, are you out of here on us? You got places to go and people to see?
Well, if you guys want a website tomorrow, I got to get back to work.
All right.
Sorry, I wasn't able to go to Redding, Randy. I know John came and represented. So
It was too hot anyway.
It was
Yeah,
a little
it was
warm
pretty hot.
trackside.
Well, what do you think, Reading? It's always hot there.
Yeah, well, but it was only 106 on track that I got. Yeah.
We have 146 was the hottest temperature we got from the track reading.
Oh my Lord,
So,
that's crazy.
right.
Well,
Okay.
thank you to everyone. Enjoy Randy talking about great stuff coming up with the NHRDA, and looking forward to next year. And I'm sure we'll be talking lots before then.
We
So
will. And,
looking forward
and
to
I
being
gotta get
partners.
this,
Looking forward to partnering up next year as well and doing even more for NHRDA.
and I got to get the Billings ad to you. I just realized I don't have the July. And you just said June came out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get Big Sky Truck Fest. So I would
You're
email
fast.
you.
We got a few weeks. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for making TFK happen, and we can't wait till next year.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, Dan. Take care. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, John.
Dan the man there, Ted 4 Magazine, editor, chief cook and bottle washer, as they say in my world sometimes. Dan gets a lot done and has his hand on just about everything that we do. So I'm glad to have him on board, and of course being the lead of the team there. So Randy, what's happening, man? We had some fun in Reading. It was a decent weekend, and by all examples of how hot it can get in Reading, this was a mild weekend.
It was. Well, we got there 9 days before because we left our Arizona event, stopped at Truckin For Kids, helped out there, went on up to Reading, and it was 70 and raining. And being Washington, I was like, oh, this is great. Right? Everybody's in sweats and coats, and I've got shorts on and a tank top, and then it went from 70 to 99 in like 24 hours. I'm like, what the heck? Right?
Yeah, well, not the usual deal, that's for sure down there. And like I said earlier, it's kind of unseasonably cool right now in places where it should be heating up. Like last weekend for Memorial Day, it wasn't the usual 90 something hot weekend. So it is what it is. Hey, Jamie, good to have you on the show. Bob, how are you? Israel as well. Nice to have you guys all on board. Talking with Randy Cole of NHRDA here, which is the National Hot Rod Diesel Association. Randy's had a couple of events already this year. Started the season off down in Arizona, Chandler, Arizona. How'd that go down there?
That was awesome. That was a great event. What a way. We've been shut down since COVID, right? So this is our first year back. We were kind of known as the pickup truck guys. We started dabbling in the big rigs in 2017, 2018. And then, of course, COVID happened, and you're right, it just wasn't working. So this year we came back with a big emphasis on getting the big rigs out there. Right. Mario Manette, if I can be right off the bat, Mario at PRI, he came in full force. Oscar, Chili Dog, I mean, all those guys out there, right? Like, let's do this. So we've got our hot rod semi class and our big rig bracket, but we've also added now the show and shine. And down there in Arizona, I grew up with Rod Pickett at Pickett Custom Trucks. So Rod was a huge U10-4 coming on. We've averaged 20 to 30 big rigs in the show and shine. And in Arizona, I think we had over 180 come in. So
that's a bunch.
That's a bunch. I tell you what, Friday night, the track was not ready for that, right? They're lined up and they're like, we're out to the highway already. I said, yeah, but it's only 30 trucks, right? They're all
no.
So that's our big emphasis now is anything diesel oriented, right? So big rigs, pickup trucks, and our tractor pulls, we bring tractors in. If it runs number 2, we want to see it at our events. Show and shine, we've now got every show and shine will have a big rig or a bobtail, a combo, and a specialty category. So, but Arizona was awesome. We had almost 5,000 spectators. They sold out of food and beer by noon. They underestimated the diesel world is what they did. So,
well, and let's talk a little, and I mean, from there it went to Reading, right?
Right.
Well, actually, you went to and helped us out at Truckin For Kids.
Right.
So we did that. You had a little break there and got to have some fun. But
I don't know about fun.
and work.
I'm usually in the tower where it's air conditioning, making calls. And now I'm out in the staging lanes. And I loved all those guys, right? But they didn't understand pairing up and stuff. So when you got 10 semis to pull back in and you're like, no, stop. I need to pair you with him and you need to pair with him. And right. Yeah. It was like herding
cats.
Yeah, herding some cats a little bit. But again, it was funny because I met with Tim, the track manager, and I saw how many trucks we had and what we had to do. And he goes, "This thing has to be done at 4:00." I said, "Here's my run order. We're going to do 2 rounds of qualifying. I will have this done by 3:50." And I was over by like 4 minutes. I think we finished at like 3:58. And it was pretty funny. He looked at me. He goes, "You've done this a time or two." I said, "Yeah, last 18 years of my life, I've been doing this." So
interesting. We'll talk about the 4:00 curfew on that one. That's interesting. But
it was really at 5. He was worried. He didn't trust me. There was an hour buffer there, but
yeah,
I went at 4. So
you got it done. So right. from Chandler with the stopover in Irwindale, then on up to Reading and do the NorCal Nationals up there. A little different setup, a little different show, right. But I think it's one in the making. I think it's going to be one that can happen and make its presence felt next year.
Right, agreed, and that's part of the reason. Thank you for inviting me on here because, like I said, I grew up with Rod Pickett, right? Rod was my in Arizona. I don't have an in California. And I realized this for a pickup guy to come into the big rig world, I need somebody in the big rig world. And we only had 2 people show up for the show and shine at NorCal. We had, drag racing was okay, but again, I'm looking for partners, man. If you're the Rod Pickett of Northern California, then give me a call because I agree. I think we can make that event. The venue can only handle 5,000 people, right? The nice thing about Arizona, it can handle 25,000 people. We have room to grow, right? Kind of like Irwindale. You guys are busting at the seams in Irwindale.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's a good problem to have.
Good problem to have. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Right. Well, and I think there's some avenues that can be explored in Reading and in that area that there's a void up there right now that can be filled. There was a show up there. I think it could be something that could happen again. So we'll definitely help you explore that and see where it takes us. Now, I had a good time that weekend. That day was fun. Trackside stream and everything that was going on. It just blows your mind what some of those 4-wheelers are doing, running diesel through their veins and what they'll do on an 8th mile, man. There was a couple of pickups that were doing like 4.5s, I think.
5.4.
5.4. Yeah. Okay. And that Corvette that was running, I forget what he was doing, but right around
the track couldn't handle that vehicle. That was no matter what we did, the track, he had way too much power for that track.
Oh, shoot. He'd get down to where it was just about time. I think it happened every time he ran. He'd sort of get a little jerk at the end, right?
400 feet, he'd go into tire shake. Yeah. And he was still coming out the back door running a low 4.
So
that car in Texas, you'll see that car will go in the 3s in the 8th mile in Texas.
Well, I tell you now, what do you guys got coming up next? That's Canada, right?
Yeah, it's our return to Canada. We love our friends north of the border. We used to, in fact, 10-4 magazine way back 20 some years ago, when Gord Cooper and Wayne Talkington and all the godfathers of the sport. I went up there in my 99 Dodge, and my kids still talk about this, that it was the Friday night lights, right? All the trucks out there with their lights on. And that's what we're trying to bring back. Again, trying to break into the big rig world, right? I got several ads running up there calling all big rigs to Mission Raceway, but Friday night especially, Friday night, as many big rigs as we can get out there. We're going to have park you all up. We're going to set you in rows. We're going to turn the lights on, right? Have an air horn going on and get the families back out there. Then we will have qualifying. That'll be qualifying Friday night, the drag racers. I know Mario will be there with the Beast. I'm not sure if Oscar's going to make it up there, but Oscar's actually leading the points right now. So he's a national points leader right there. I know I saw Oscar log in earlier. So yeah, we got 2 days. It's Father's Day, right? So if you guys love big rigs and diesel pickup trucks, bring your dad out. Friday night is qualifying. Saturday is the eliminations. And hopefully we'll all be done. And Sunday we can just hang around a barbecue together.
Pete Guthrie came on and he said that was Wagler Motorsports Corvette Stingray with a Cummins in it. Is that's what we're talking about?
That is true. Ben Shaddy was the owner. Ben has now sold it. So it's back in Texas, but I think it went back to UCC for this weekend so Wade Minter can drive it. Wade Minter, the new owner. If you saw the team that went up there with that Corvette, I couldn't even tell you. It's between Chris Buheider, Philip Franklin, and Wade Minter, multiple national championships, multiple world championships. There was so much history standing at that starting line that nobody in Redding, California even understood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. If you go to their houses, there's nothing but trophies and plaques everywhere in the diesel world from those three people that were there that weekend.
Well, let's explore that a little bit. I know we got one more show to talk about that's coming up, actually two, but in the NHRA without the D World, there's big changes happening there. They just announced what a successful forward growth has happened over the last 2 years, that they're filling up stands, that things are really, really taking off. Camping World is leaving as a sponsor, all of it. So NASCAR, NHRA, everything. And in 25, there's going to be new sponsors coming on board, but they're going to stay through 24, and then 25 will have a new one. So they'll be announcing whoever the new sponsor is soon. But man, what a fantastic thing. So I'm thinking, what does NHRDA need to do to kind of dovetail in on that success? We gotta make it happen.
Right. I mean, NHRA, like the Gator Nationals, right? They sold that thing out. We went to the Gator Nationals. Well, we call it the Gator Diesel Nationals. And 5 years in a row, we rained out. We rained out every time we went down there. But to see them fill those stands, and then they turned around and came up to Wild Horse and freaking sold out again. I mean, congratulations to them. Our biggest thing is our first year back, right? Not going to lie, it's our first year back. We're only doing the West Coast. We used to do 16 events across the nation. I don't have it into me anymore. I'm just being honest. I'm getting older and don't want to be on the road the whole time.
Right.
So that's how we came in. We'll talk about the World Finals in a little bit, but I called the Outlaw Drag, the ODSS Outlaw Series out on the East Coast. I called them, said, hey, you guys have been growing this good. I honestly don't want to come out there. So how about I say from Texas West, you say from Texas East, and then at the Texas World Finals, we're going to have a battle royale. So our problem is still getting back out there, right? The West Coast, a lot of guys have trucks sitting in mothballs. I don't remember his name, but he was bracket racing at Redding, and he had actually a nitrous bottle on it. He hasn't raced in 7 years. It's just been sitting there, right? So getting these guys back out, getting new blood involved. Spectator-wise, we have spectators. Redding was a little bit low. Arizona was good. I don't think we'll ever we're not the 20,000 spectators, right? I'm a true promoter. A lot of people thought we had 10,000 people at Arizona. We didn't. We really had like 4,800. It looked like 10,000 people because you couldn't walk down Vendor Row, but we're never that. I don't think so. We get 5,000 to 8,000 people, 10,000 people. That's a really good crowd. To get 20,000, I maybe someday, way in the future, if Truckin For Kids and NHRDA do it all together, right?
You never can tell, and never say never. It's a possibility that big show is out there and things, become very successful for NHRDA. It all starts with the fan base and of course, quality competition. And boy, have you piqued some interest from a lot of guys that just all of a sudden came out of the woodwork, right?
Right. And that's back to the Cone Trucking, right? We need those guys. I love show and shine, right? Don't get me wrong. But people love seeing stuff go down the track, and especially big rigs, right? It's bracket racing, guys. You don't need to go out there and beat your truck up. You leave the line, you shift just like you're going onto an on-ramp of I-5. Make your shift the exact same time every time. That's bracket racing. That people love watching the big rigs. Yep,
absolutely. I mean, I grew up in drag racing with bracket races. I mean, you didn't always see the jet cars on the track. The top fuels weren't always on the track. It was not that way, man. It's whoever comes off the street that wants to be a hot rod drag racer. Now he's on it. He's bracket racing.
Right.
And that's just every normal, everyday guy with his everyday ride. And that makes it fun. So I guess the best thing to do is send everybody off with a little bit of marching orders to to talk it up. Start kind of getting out there, talk to your friends. If you ever thought about doing something a little different, maybe it's running the neighborhood track that NHRDA is going to show up at, and bring whatever you got and run it and see what happens, man.
I always advise that. Almost every track has a Friday night street legals, right? And to go out on a street legal when your family's not in the stands, you're not on diesel TV, right? Some people are like, oh, it's a national event. It's a national event because I put national at the end of it. That's all it is, right? It's still a bunch of diesel guys getting together that live and breathe what we do. So definitely a Friday night street legal, go out and call your track, especially for a big rig, call your track before, let them know you're coming out, right? Just to do that. Most tracks are very receptive to it. They really are. So
good deal. So what do we got coming up after Canada? We're going to Montana, is that right? And then Texas?
Big Sky Truck Fest. That is one of our oldest of Reading and Big Sky Truck Fest are two of our oldest events. That's way back in 2001 when I originated the NHRDA. Brad from G&J Diesel, this guy called me up and I said, hey, whenever you get 50 trucks out there, you let me know. And he sent me a picture that next Saturday with like 70 trucks sitting on there. So one of the most beautiful venues out there. It's the only venue I've had to stop racing because we had antelope coming over the end of the quarter mile, and we actually had to shut down racing until we got the antelope out of the way.
Well, that would turn into a different sport then if you left them.
Right. It was racing while hunting.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You don't want to do that. Not recommended. So,
right.
Texas. I'm not obviously. I'm not going to be able to make it down there,
right.
But I would imagine we're going to have somebody down there that we know that could help us out, and Montana as well. But I just I hope. And listen, guys, this is something I met the track owner in Reading, and his name's Tony. And Tony and I were talking. He also owns the Sacramento track, and was telling
closing down.
That's where I was going. So Sacramento's closing. Now there's a number of reasons why, but look, bottom line, if they were making money down there with that track, I would venture to say they probably would stay open, but it's a challenge. And you got to make money to stay in business.
Right.
So, whatever it takes, whenever these races come around, talk them up and help us out. And especially next time around, it sounds like Arizona down there. Well, now that brings up another interesting. So Chandler's done too, right?
So
okay.
It's in the drag racing world, and the sad thing is these tracks are making money. Sacramento they got forced out by the county. Bandimere Raceway up in Colorado making money, got forced out because, don't ask me why, these racetracks have been here for 60 years, but now new developers build houses, and some reason they buy a house and don't figure out they bought it next to a racetrack, right? Houston Raceway shut down. I mean, I've been to almost all these tracks that are shutting down. I've been to over 80 tracks in 27 states in the last 18 years of doing this. And it's really sad because it's not that they're not making money, it's they're getting forced out. So so yes, when your local track of Bandimere, they're done this year, right? Sacramento is, but they're still open right now. So go support them. If there's an event, I don't even care if you don't like that event, go buy a hamburger and beer and give a farewell, because when we lose a track, we don't build a new track. We just lose another track.
Yeah. So I'm going to date myself a little bit. Y'all remember Baylands Raceway, listen, I went to that drag strip, and that was absolute history that was made at that track. I mean, and that's one of those tracks that was forced out.
Right.
And that's the trend. It's not a new one. So
right.
it's been going on for years, but listen, there's got to be something where there's got to be a line drawn somewhere, somehow that tracks are going to still remain intact. Now, look, we're probably part of the dying breed. Who knows, 50 years from now, if they're even going to care about what we do. But it is now something that we still enjoy. So support it out there, you guys, when it's out there and it's available to go to. It's a blast to go to the races. I love going. Doesn't matter if they're oval, quarter mile, eighth mile, bikes, cars, trucks, whatever, man. There's nothing like that kind of competition.
Right. And we try to put on, but we try to do a whole show, right? It's drag racing, it's truck and tractor pulls, it's a show and shine, it's a dyno contest. I mean, if we break on the track, there's 9 other things to go walk around and look at. Like we saw, we had some oil downs, we had to slow down, but you look out and people are out in the show and shine, they're watching the dyno go. So, right, it's we used to be labeled as just a drag racing guys, but we're not. We usually have 5 pieces to our recipe at every event.
Check out the local ovals too, guys. Part of my business when I was still down in California would be to go to live stream some of those oval races down there, All American Raceway in Roseville, California, and they have a whole circuit of cars that's what they do. They go all over California racing at these little local oval tracks, and like Randy said, there might be a race that it goes on, it's over, it happens pretty fast. Then there's another one and another one. And I mean, there's a bunch of different things going on. But what's fun is the track owners bring a lot of different fun stuff into the track as well, whether it's stuff that's outside the track or the demolition races that they do afterwards. I mean, the trailer and boat races. Have you ever seen that?
Yes. Some of that stuff, I'm just, right, insurance wise, I'm like, how did they get insurance to do that? That's freaking, right?
Yeah.
That's like
so in case you guys don't know what we're talking about, some of you may or may not, but they'll actually have races where these guys are towing an RV, a trailer, or a boat, and that's part of the race. And they're doing oval, figure 8. They get on the infield, they cruise through hay bales and all kinds of crap. It's just sheer insanity, and whatever happens out there. And then at the end, they actually have to go out there and sweep it up.
Right.
Whatever's left on the track.
Right. Right. Yes.
Hey, Kelly's on here right now. Kelly said, thanks for coming to Reading. Thanks for showing up on the show, Kelly. Appreciate that.
Well, she was on the East Coast. Next year, plan your vacations better.
Yeah. Dang it. What the heck, huh? Pete Guthrie. Yeah. Veterans get back like on the battlefield. Yeah. Lot to be said, man. There's just a lot of different stuff going on. I'm real excited that NHRA has made such a positive return.
Right.
Coming back from COVID was not easy, and they seem to have done it. Great sponsorships and partnerships, and Fox Sports for them. Boy, NHRDA needs to have Fox Sports calling on the phone. Hey, Randy, we need you. That would be something, huh?
Well, we were on Fox back in 2012 and 2013. The price of being on Fox. That's why we now own our own camera gear and everything. Because I looked at a couple episodes at a cost. I'm like, well, I can take that money and buy my own equipment. So.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, Randy, good to have you on. You got the big finish, the big finale, the end of the year, or the end of your season, which is Texas. Let's talk about that before we go. Tell us about Texas Motor Speedway and what's coming up there.
Texas Motor Speedway towards Dallas, out in Ennis, Texas. It's been our world final championship for many years. It's our biggest event by sure. I loved when you had that pan over of Truckin For Kids. We had one in 2016 when we had like 9,000 spectators and over 400 competitors, right? Just 100 acres just full. And so this is our world final. So this year, again, I challenge. So it's an NHRDA versus the ODSS. So we have an East Coast versus West Coast team challenge. You will still be world champion. If you win, you're world champion, but then we'll tally up the points, and we've got a big 5-foot Stanley Cup trophy that organization will take till the following year. Probably the more exciting thing is Mario again, big hats off to Mario. We've got an outlaw semi-truck series coming there. Supposedly we have trucks from Guatemala, from Mexico. The southern border is invading. And luckily Biden doesn't pay attention to it. So we're going to bring them all across without Biden even knowing about them. But
he doesn't know about them right now as it is. He does. Anyway. No, we don't want to go there. Okay.
Off subject really quick. I saw on Facebook where they said, hey, crocodiles will grow in the Rio Grande. Problem solved. So let's bring in like 100,000 crocodiles and drop them in there.
Wait a minute. Edit. Edit.
Right, right. But I am excited to say this, as far as I know, this will be the biggest gathering of hot rod and outlaw semi-truce race trucks in one location on one venue on September 15th to 17th. I don't think there's anywhere else in the world that's going to have as many of these vehicles that we'll have at our World Finals. So,
well, I'd have to say you're probably right about that, and I wish nothing but the best to you and NHRDA. I'm glad you came back. I know it was tough there for a while, and you made the big swing back. You're hitting it hard. The West Coast loves you, and we want to keep NHRDA going. So we look forward to much success this year and into next year for you, Randy.
right. Thank you, sir.
You betcha. Appreciate it. And our partnership with 10-4 and Truckin For Kids, we appreciate that as well. So we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Keep us posted. Hey, one thing, Oscar said he wanted to know where he could look at his points. So you want to point guys out there, where can they find their points?
Go to NHRDA and you click on drag racing and it drops down and there's the points. I don't know if my wife has them up. Like I told you off scene, right? I got a phone call right after Reading and we had to rush home because my dad had some medical issues. So I know the points are done. I don't know if they're up. Yeah, let's talk about that really quick. I forgot to say that. So guys, right? Big rig bracket guys, not to be mean, but where can you get paid $1,000 cash for just going down a drag strip, right? We've got the biggest payouts out there. The hot rod semi-class pays $2,000. Like the big rig bracket, just in Reading, right? We only had 4 guys. One won $1,000, one won $500, and the other guys got $100 a piece just to come out and have fun. So guaranteed whether 1 truck shows up or 10 trucks shows up. So that's I try to throw that out there, right? It's not to be mean, but I know the cost of fuel and everything. Well, I guarantee you going down the 8th mile a couple times isn't as much as going 1,000 miles with a load behind you. So
I wanted to make sure we got that out there because, hey, money talks, right? And it helps to help pay the fuel bill if you can get a little bit if you win something going down the track. So,
right.
All right, Randy, take care. Best to you. Best to your dad.
I forgot that too.
So now is that the trophy for the?
That is the World Finals trophy. That is solid crystal that we give out every year. Plus, you also get a World Championship ring. So come down to Texas, become a world champion, and everybody in the world will know you.
Right on. Randy will make you famous.
Right.
All right, Randy. We'll take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right, folks. Randy Cole there from NHRDA. Great to have him on the show. And of course, Dan on the show earlier too. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I know we ran a little long today, but that's okay. Good stuff out there, and want to make sure we get everybody covered and all the information in there and out there to you guys, and let you know what's going on. As always, with any of the events that you're interested in, go to 104magazine.com, is right down there on the bottom, and go to the events tab. Click on that, and it'll give you any of the shows that we talked about for the most part. If we know about it, it should be there for you with a link and with the information so that you guys can go and check out what's going on with that show. Always call or go to their website, Facebook, social media, whatever, Instagram that they might have for the latest updated information to make sure that everything's on track. Till next week, and that brings up a point of interest for next week. So next week, we're going to be at Reno at the at the Historical Truck Society show. So I'm just going to bring it up here right now and show you guys what I was talking about. HTHS, there it is. ATHS National Truck Show, 8th, 9th, and 10th. And we will be there. All of Team 10-4 will be there. I will be there. I will be leaving to go and travel. So I will be on the road. That is next week, right? Yeah. No show next week, next Wednesday, but look for us live streaming all through the show, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we will be bringing it to you live from Reno, Nevada at the Grand Sierra Resort. All right, y'all, keep the shiny side up. Ingrid, thanks for dropping in, hon. I appreciate that. And show from the show. Yeah, well, that's entirely possible. Wednesday's a travel day, though, so it won't be Wednesday, but it will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we will definitely put something together in that respect. Obviously, we'll be live streaming trucks and sights and sounds from around the resort and all of the trucks parked there at the show. Should be quite a deal. Oscar, going to be at the show. Nice. Looking forward to seeing you there, buddy, along with everybody else. Till then, I want you to keep it safe, keep the shiny side up. We'll check you later. Talk to you guys next week. One way or the other, we'll definitely get in touch and in front of you. Take care.